Well, hello and welcome to your Saturday evening. This is Behind the Mic Radio, and I'm your host, Dawn Mack. So very glad to be here with you on this Easter weekend, and I hope that it's shaping up to be a great weekend for you. We have the big holiday tomorrow, and I hope that many of you are going to be celebrating as I am. And so what better way to preface tomorrow than to have a guest that I am extremely excited about tonight. We are waiting for her to call in, so as soon as she calls in, we will get started. But I am just so elated to have her because I have watched her. I've been a fan of hers ever since she, started on, well, she's been on numerous soaps, but where I first discovered her and really grew to like her was when she was on As the World Turns. And so I am just so very excited to be speaking with her. I've watched her on Bold and the Beautiful ever since she's been there. And in case you are late arriving, I am talking about Lesli Kay. And I'm hoping she'll call in just a few minutes. It is an Easter weekend, and I know that everybody is just crazy busy, and so we are just all the more excited to have her with us tonight. So I hope that everyone's had a great day out there. I hope your weather has been just picture perfect. Ours has been here, although tomorrow we are expecting rain. So that kind of sucks, but other than that, today has been great. So we would definitely take it. And also for those of you who are following the NCAA tournament, I've stopped watching, quite frankly, because my team is no longer in it, so it's a moot point. But in any event, today I went out and did some shopping, did some yard work. It's just been a great day to get out and do a lot of different things. I hope that you've been enjoying the day as well. So we are waiting for her to call in. Let me see what is going on here. Well, so far I am not seeing anything, but that doesn't mean she won't be calling in. So she could have been detained for a few minutes, and I'm sure that she will be, she'll be calling in soon. So in the meantime, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about our show here. For those of you who are brand new to our show, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us tonight. For all of our regular listeners who are joining us tonight, thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we are somewhat new to Blog Talk Radio. We're not new in one way, but we're new in this way, if that makes sense. I have another radio show called Jam and Jukebox Radio Show that plays all indie music, and that's going to be on a little bit later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. For those of you who just want to kick back for a couple of hours and listen to some great indie music, come on over to Jam and Jukebox, and we'll be glad to entertain you. But Behind the Mic is relatively new. We debuted on March the 7th, and so far we've had some really great guests and to date, and it's just been a really exciting time for us. And as many of you know, I co-hosted with Pam, who is the host of Take Two Radio for a little while now, and kind of decided to venture off on my own and do my own thing. And so far I'm really enjoying it. We're getting to meet some great people and getting to bring some awesome actors and entertainers from the industry to you, so we're very excited about that. Last night, if you joined us, you know that we had the one and the only Robin Matson, who plays Heather Weber on General Hospital, and that was such a treat for all of us because not only was it a treat for us, it was a treat for the listeners as well, because she doesn't do that many interviews. It's a rare thing, and so needless to say, it is just one of those things where you don't ever know how things are going to happen sometimes. But in any event, it just blew my mind that we had her on for 30 minutes. And so I hope that everyone that listened, enjoyed that. But if you didn't get a chance to tune in last night, you can always go to the main page here on Blog Talk Radio, put in Behind the Mic Radio, and you can get all of our podcasts for all the interviews that we've done today. You can also download them off of iTunes, and so you can catch that interview. It was very good. And she's quite insightful and had a lot to say about General Hospital, and couldn't really talk about what was to come, of course. Don't want to spoil anything, but but for the most part, what she did tell, I think people enjoyed, and if you're a huge General Hospital fan, then, that is, that was a real treat. Now, for people who are Days fans, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that next week we have 2 Days guests who will be on our show here. Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, you'll want to mark your calendars. We're going to have the one and only Blake Ferris, who plays Nick Fallon on Days, and he is not a real well-liked character right now because of some of the really nasty things he's doing to Will and friends. But needless to say, I have to say that I am somewhat new to Days. I've recently started watching, and I cannot stop watching that show. I am addicted. And, all this time I've been seeing stuff in my feed about Days and things going on, and I could not believe just how incredibly just taken in by the whole storylines and the plots from the word go. So now I'm an avid watcher, and I've started watching General Hospital, getting into that because they brought back so many of the old familiar favorites that, diehard fans of the show grew to know and love through the years, and so they're bringing them back for the 50th anniversary, which is coming up very soon. And so that has also kind of lured me in, and now I'm hooked on that show. And but for those of you who may not know, I grew up a CBS soap girl. So, I was always about Young and the Restless and Bold and Beautiful and As the World Turns, Guiding Light, that kind of thing. And that's kind of where my love of soaps was back in the day when I was growing up. I mean, to venture off to NBC or ABC and be soap was just taboo, so you just didn't do it. but now that we're all grown up, so to speak, and now there's all this excitement of All My Children and One Life to Live returning, although it's going to come back to the web, it's going to be on Hulu. I mean, I'm excited about that. I can't wait because, some of the actresses have gravitated over to CBS Daytime in the interim, so I've kind of gotten to know them in a little different light. So, it's going to be exciting, in that regard. So I'm just really excited about everything that's going on in the soap world these days, and for everyone who works so hard to bring, All My Children and One Life to Live back, kudos to you guys. And I hope, with fingers crossed, and I know David's in the chat room, and he would probably agree with me. I hope that Procter & Gamble really sits up and takes note, and they realize that what, Prospect Park is doing is really a gold mine situation for them, and it will be, because I fully expect those 2 shows to be just successful, if not more successful, being that they've returned. So I hope that they take note, and then they start putting a plan together to bring back As the World Turns and Guiding Light. That would be awesome to have all of our soaps back on air the way it used to be before, they lost out to just the economy being what it has been for so long. But the economy, I think, is starting to bounce back, and that's evident of what Prospect Park is doing for those 2 soaps. And, when you look at all the General Hospital is doing to bring back all of those, veteran actors who, really made General Hospital what it was in its, in its day, and it continues to make it the success that it is to this day, that's saying a lot, and, when you look at what's going on at Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful, I mean, everything is just going so well in the soap world right now, and, soap fans couldn't be happier. So we are thoroughly excited about what's to come. Summer's coming, and I don't know about you, but during the summer months, it seems like the storylines always ramp up. There's kind of like 3 times a year for me when I notice storylines really get, big, and that is, the summer, of course. You have all these big storylines. Then around the holidays, the end of the year, and then right around the time we're in now, all the storylines are starting to ramp up, kind of as a lead-in to the summer season. So it's going to be real interesting to see how things unfold. Now, one thing I do want to reiterate that Robin said last night, one of the callers was making comment to her about how, he absolutely loved seeing all the veteran actors back on General Hospital. And she was like, well, it's up to the fans, let the executive producers, let the writers know just how much you enjoy seeing your old familiar favorites back, because you do have a voice, and it does make all the difference in the world. And, and that is true, because look at what the fan voice has done for All My Children and One Life to Live. So in that regard, when you think about it like that, if you want to see your old familiar favorites, these veteran actors remain employed and remain on General Hospital where they were for so many years, then write General Hospital, write the powers that be, and solicit, your plea to them for, bringing these, not only bringing back some of those that aren't on there yet that we have yet to see. Nurses Ball is coming up, but also, to have them stay on beyond the whole 50th anniversary celebration and all the hype with that. Because there, quite frankly, there are some really good storylines going on right now on GH, and so, I would hate to see it come to an end just because the Nurses Ball takes place, the 50th anniversary comes and goes, and then these actors kind of start dwindling away one by one, and it's just made the show a lot richer. And then you've got all the new talent that has been on there for a while. It is undoubtedly one of the biggest casts in daytime right now. So, if you want to continue to have that cast in place, then let them know by all means. Excuse me. And so I've heard back from, by the way, a side note here, I've heard back from Leslie's publicist. He's informed me that she said she would be calling in, so she must be running behind. And I apologize because I don't have any music I can play you guys to kind of tide you over in the meantime. That's on my other show. So I don't have anything I could do. So, you just have to listen to me gab a little bit. But needless to say, we're just very excited to have Leslie. And to give you a little bit of an idea about her, our guest this evening she's best known for her portrayal of Felicia Forrester currently on the CBS Daytime drama Old and the Beautiful. And she is also well known for her role of Molly Conlan on As the World Turns, as well as roles on General Hospital, The Young and the Restless, Venice, the series, and The Bay. She is a winner of the Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for As the World Turns, and she was also nominated for a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for Bold and the Beautiful, and she has also held roles on CSI New York, Law and Order, and Ghost Whisperer. And so as soon as she calls in, we will be welcoming her to our show, and we'll be talking with her very shortly. So what do you guys think? I mean, I know that the SoapNet GH50-hour marathon is going on right now as we speak, and I have to say I have been out of sync all day. I've been out running errands and everything, so I've not been able to just plop down in front of the TV and just watch it nonstop, but I'm going to try to catch some of that later on when I get off the air this evening. So if anybody knows how long that's going to run for, please let me know. Is it just this weekend? Is it going to be on later tonight? I mean, I need to know. Someone in the chat room, please yell to me and let me know. And by the way, those who have joined us tonight, I want to say a big hello to Michelle and Brandon and David and to our guests, those that I can see at least in the chat room. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and thank you for your patience as we wait for Leslie to call in, and I hope she calls in. So I'm going to touch base with the publicist yet again just to make sure, if you can just bear with me one moment while I send him a quick note. All right. That's a done deal. So don't you just love social media? I love social media. I try to pretend like I'm not addicted to social media, but unfortunately I think I am like half the world. I mean, it's really bad, folks. I mean, I have to say it's really bad. My phone, I always have it on my, my bedside table, and the reason for that is because I don't have a landline phone. I got rid of that like 3 years ago. And, when everyone in my house has a cell phone, we don't need a landline phone, And so every morning before I roll out of bed, I look at my phone because I never know if my daughter's called or, I'm just checking it. But But naturally, I gravitate to the social media. I mean, how many people out there do this? Am I the only one guilty? Do I need a 12-step program? I mean, Michelle is telling me I'm not the only one addicted to social media. So if you look at your phone before you roll out of bed, raise your hand out there. I mean, really, because I'm guilty of it. I do it every morning, especially now that I run 2 shows, and I'm always checking it to make sure, I don't have emails I need to answer, and you'd be surprised when you have people you're dealing with that are on West Coast time and you're on the East Coast, people email you in the middle of the night when you're sleeping, when they're still awake. So it's crazy, but nonetheless, I do, and kind of that's how I get my day started. It's almost like sometimes I wonder what I would do if I lost my phone. Has anyone ever had that fear out there? What would you do if you lost your phone? I think I would probably have a very, no, I take that back. I'd have a severe meltdown because, first of all, as great as smartphones are and as much as we use them, I honestly do not know everybody's phone number that's in my phone. And, of course, no one out there has that problem, I'm sure. But think about it. I mean, I would be lost. I mean, I always get cracked up, but yet it's so true. Every time I'm, on Facebook and I see a friend of mine and they put a post up, I've lost my phone, had to get a new one. Please email me your contact info, your phone number, yada, yada. Text me your info, and I think it's hilarious, but it is so true. I mean, what would we do if we lost our phone? Nobody has stuff sitting on their computer anywhere. They don't have a nice little list of contact info. Of course, now you can do the backup, and all you can do is hope and pray that you've done a backup on your phone to where all your contacts and everything are saved. So you can just take it into the phone store and get them to reload everything. But still, sometimes it's easier said than done, and so I think I would be lost if I didn't have my phone. I have gone out the door before, and to get in my car to leave for work or to leave for my day, and checking my pocketbook frantically because I'm thinking I've lost my phone or I've left my phone in the house or something crazy like that. And more so than worrying about if I have my keys. I mean, that is really bad, people. So I'm just telling you all my bad vices here. And Michelle's hilarious. There's no 12-step program for us. And, of course, I guess if there were, then, it would be, well, hold on just a moment. I'm sorry to ramble, but okay. Her publicist says he has left her, he's left her messages at every possible place, and hopefully she will call in soon. So we're going to see. Hopefully she will, because I know many of you out there are looking forward to this. And, I even offered to her publicist to postpone, to do it another date. I had given several dates to him, and so because I realized after the fact that this was Easter weekend and everybody's busy and they're doing all kinds of great things with family, and nobody is thinking about radio shows and things like that. So I didn't want to impose on her or her time, and I offered to him, look, if she can't do it, it's not a big deal. And he said she could. So we're hoping that rings true. Because I would, I'd hate for that to happen. But if for some reason, she doesn't call in today, folks, I'll just tell you that we will get a date with her very quickly, and we will get her on so that, everyone, I can make good on my promise, because I like to follow through on what I say I'm going to do. So we talked about phones. We've talked about guests. Now, one of the things, and this is one of those times when I wish I had Pam. I don't know where Pam is. She's off doing her thing today, too, for Easter, I'm sure. And I hope she's having a great day, by the way. But, I don't know about you, but what is your favorite storyline of all the soaps right now? I guess you'd have to break it down per soap. But it's hard for me to, I guess that's really hard as a soap viewer to say, well, I love this one above all the soaps right now. When Guiding Light was on the air, As the World Turns was on the air, and I was just strictly a CBS soap girl, I can tell you Guiding Light was my number one favorite soap. Then Young and the Restless. Then As the World Turns. Then Bold and the Beautiful. That was the order. And you know, and it was really funny because I had to wait the whole day when I was watching the CBS shows. I had to wait all afternoon to get to the guiding light. It was like saving the best for the last for me, but I had to wait all afternoon. So, but, you know, one thing I will say is when I was watching GH the other day, it was the episode where Richard Simmons was on the show. Oh, my gosh. Every time I see him, he is a complete riot act. And that exchange between he and Lesli Kay was absolutely hilarious. And, you know, Pam had already warned me about Lesli Kay. You know, Lynn Herring, who plays Lesli Kay, she does a phenomenal job. She's so comedic, and she really makes that character what it is. And she had said, oh, she's hilarious, you'll love her, and no doubt. I mean, I think she is one of the funniest daytime actors I've ever seen. And but that exchange between she and Richard Simmons, all I could think, folks, was, you know, I've seen Richard Simmons interviewed a lot, and he's always kind of off the beaten path, if you will, and he's always so funny. You don't ever know, and loud and obnoxious and crazy, but you don't always know if he is, you know, if he's being for real or not. Well, in the, you know, in the show, GH, it was really funny because I was like, is he role playing as part of, you know, the script, or is he truly being Richard Simmons? Because it was just really hard to separate him from his normal self in that episode. It was hilarious. But nonetheless, you know, the big thing is I've heard so much about this Nurses Ball. I understand it's like all the rage on GH. It's really become a fan favorite as they've done it, you know, time and again. And so I am really excited about watching it. I'll be a first-time Nurses Ball watcher, I will admit, and I'm excited because, you know, there's going to be all the host of, gosh, what a cast for that. And, you know, last night Robin would not allude to, although she was kind of alluding to, I thought, but not really alluding to, about John Stamos and Rick Springfield. Now, I'm wondering if GH is going to bring them back, because she was saying, you know, she kind of hinted around, not specifically to anyone in particular, but she kind of led me to believe, and Pam to believe, that, you know, the Nurses Ball is going to reveal some folks that we have yet to see, that have yet to pop up. And so I'm wondering if they're going to make an appearance at the Nurses Ball. I think that's going to be quite interesting, to say the least. So, you know, it'll be quite interesting to see how it all ends. Now, I'm a big John Stamos fan, and I'm a Rick Springfield fan. Love his music. And to see them back on GH would be great. I never saw them on GH back in the day, but I understand that they were two on GH that you didn't want to miss. And but thank God for YouTube. Is that not true? Just thank God for YouTube. We can just pull up any and everything we want to watch on YouTube, which is always, you know, a good thing. So, yeah, and now I'm looking in the chat room, and someone Michelle has indicated that, you know, that on some of her favorite storylines, Weinar, Adam saving the day storyline. Yes. To me, right now, being that I have been a long-time Weinar fan and viewer, I can tell you that the storyline right now that is unfolding is one of the best storylines they've had on in a long time. And I don't know, I'm a sucker for a good, you know, heartfelt, heartwarming moment. And when Adam jumped in front of that, took that bullet, you know, as much animosity as he and Victor has had since he's been on the show, really, it just really warms my heart. Not that he took the bullet by any stretch, but the fact that the way Victor was acting after it happened, and he was being so protective of his son. And it really just goes to show that in a situation like that, you know, Victor just cast all that animosity and all that hatred and, you know, all that contention aside, because all he cared about was whether or not his son was going to live. And that, you know, that really kind of told the tale of how they truly feel for each other. But for whatever reason, they can't, you know, let their guard down and just be father and son. And the other crazy thing about all that was, you know, I just interviewed Eric Braden the other day on my show here, and then the following day I was watching, you know, Weinar, and I saw him. He was in one of the opening scenes, and it was like, that was just so surreal to me that I had just spoken to him here on the show, and I'm seeing him on my television screen. But yeah, that storyline right now is one of the best that YNR has had. And I think it's because, you know, it's not centered around, you know, Adam and Sharon, and it's not centered around some of the other, you know, previous things that we've been privy to of the previous writing teams, I should say. But it's really good storytelling right now, and it's the kind of, you know, daytime drama that I used to love to watch, you know, 2 decades ago, when storylines were like that, and they had you on the edge of your seat, and you didn't want to stop watching, and you couldn't wait for the next day for it to come back on so you could see what was going to happen and that kind of thing. And so, you know, it's really got you sucked back in again, and so that is pretty good writing. I'll give the writers that for sure. And then on Bold and the Beautiful, I will admit I've kind of digressed from watching B&B of late because I had gotten so weary of the whole Steffi, Hope, Liam storyline. You know, now Steffi's pregnant and this and that, and it's just, that was on my last nerve. It was like, that's a storyline that should have went away, you know, months and months and months ago, you know, and it has just been dragged out. And it's almost like once Ron Moss left and Susan Flannery left, there was nothing left. It was just, that was the main storyline. And you know, and now things are heating up between, you know, Bill and Brooke, and I don't like that. And it's, right now, it's almost like there's not enough men on Bold and the Beautiful, because until this whole debacle with Bill, you know, Brooke has had no one in her life since Ridge left and just flew the coop, which, by the way, I think Ron Moss will be back at some point. He's off on tour with Player right now, and I know there's a standing clause with B&B that if you want to go off and pursue other projects, you can't be on B&B. I do believe he'll be back at some point, honestly, because when he's done touring, he'll have to have something to do. I don't see him staying away. He's been in daytime too long. But I could be wrong, so don't hold me to it. But you know, I mean, why Bill? Why couldn't they have brought somebody brand new? I mean, I would have, okay, and don't start hanging up and discontinuing. But here's what I thought was going to happen. When they brought Deacon back on the show, Sean Kanan, for the whole Hope wedding, Liam wedding debacle, when he was brought back into the picture, you know, and that was kind of on the cusp of people learning that Ron Moss was leaving and this and that, slightly before that, you know, I thought there's a perfect end. You know, Ridge is going to leave. Deacon's kind of been written back in, and you know, Brooke and Deacon are going to kind of pick up where they left off. They're going to kind of rekindle, and you know, it's going to be kind of a family dynamic now with Hope, and he's going to be there to get to know it. But that whole storyline, I don't know about you guys, but it was just kind of like he was just there for a moment so she could see him, and then it was just, he's gone. And there was no bonding for she and her dad. It was just kind of a filler storyline for about 2 or 3 days, and it was over. And I don't know if you caught my interview with Texas Battle and Crystal and Lloyd several weeks ago, but, you know, they talked about that. They talked about, you know, a couple of his storylines have been, you know, they no more get started and then they're done. And, you know, and I think in some ways in daytime, what kills daytime sometimes or turns viewers off is one, a storyline like the trifecta of Steffi, Liam, Hope that goes on for months and months and months and months that just will not end, or a storyline that people really don't even have time to get their feet wet with, and all of a sudden, you know, it's over before they know it. So that is really, you know, that I hate that. I hate when they do that. And so to me, that's kind of like, with the whole why bring him back? If they aren't going to have him on the show, and granted, he's doing a phenomenal job. Sean is doing a great job over at GH, so who can blame him? But I'm, you know, I'm just saying, why even bring the Deacon character back into the show if they weren't going to do anything with it other than to have him there as upheaval for? I mean, that was just so far. Who breaks someone out of prison? I guess unless you're Bill Spencer, to go, you know, shake up a wedding on you know, his son's wedding day. I mean, really, come on, people. But so that was kind of a little bit off the beaten path. I don't know what they were dipping into the day the writers decided to put that together, but that was just a little bit far-fetched. But, you know, I would have loved, you know, to seen that kind of take hold a little more. But now you've got Brooke and Bill. I mean, who is there for Brooke to hook up with? I mean, really, there is no one in the picture, a leading man per se, that she can hook up with. She's already been married to Eric. Thorne's not around right now. Ridge is off in La La Land. So, I mean, who's left, Bill? He's the only major player, leading man on the show right now. So, you know, unless she starts going for the younger model, but, you know, let's not go there. So, I mean, what else could they possibly do? I would have loved to have seen them bring somebody brand new in that would just be, you know, that would set the stage for a great relationship for Brooke in the event that Ron Moss does come back. It would be that dynamic there. But, you know, I'm not a soap writer, obviously. If I were, that would be a lot different. And I apologize, I'm just now viewing the chat, and I see Michelle is screaming at me going, John Stamos is coming back to GH, yay! So I applaud that. I'm very, very happy. I will definitely be watching that because I love John Stamos. And you know something? That is one man that has aged so incredibly gracefully. He is still as fine today as he was when he was on GH and on Full House. I mean, my gosh, unbelievable. And now let's switch gears. We talked about CBS, you know, and GH, but she's just, Michelle, you're just a wealth of information, I must tell you. She is saying, now whether this is true, an insider tells Uncensored that Nadia Bajorlin and Patrika Darbo are leaving Days, and the two actresses could be back in sometime in the near future. Now, well, and Brandon's just saying that's not surprising, but for me that's surprising because I just started kind of watching in the last, 3 months, and so I'm just kind of getting acquainted with all the characters and learning who they are, and I really can't decide if I like Chloe. Chloe is absolutely stunningly beautiful, though. I will say that. But I can tell you that this whole Daniel and I can't think of his Jennifer, Daniel and Jennifer, that's already on my nerves. And I've not been tuned in long enough for it to get on my nerves, but it's already on my nerves. It's like, I just don't know about this whole thing. And I don't know if it's also because I kind of like Chloe. I mean, she's the mother of Daniel's child. And although, now this is coming from someone who's never watched Days until recently, so I don't know, about her character. I don't know if she's a schemer. I don't know if she's always been kind of a backhanded kind of person, but I kind of like her. I kind of like her and Daniel together. I've never thought from the word go, just no longer than I've been a viewer, I've never thought that Daniel and Jennifer were a good match. Now, you Days fans, established Days fans out there, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But that's kind of my thinking, just as a new viewer. I would much rather see the two of them with other people because they're just boring to me already. But there's so many other things about that show that I love. The whole Kristen and Brady thing, oh, my gosh. You can't help but like Kristen because of Eileen Davidson and who she is, and having watched her for years on YNR, and now she's back on YNR, but she's still on Days. It's like, I'm sure for her, just the best of the both worlds as an actress, having the cream of a crop situation that she's in where she can be on both shows. And that's cool for YNR fans. It's also cool for Days fans, and I wish more actors could do that, quite frankly. I'm enjoying Days. I'm enjoying all the storylines, and it's been really neat to talk to some of these Days characters that I've been watching on the show now. And kind of get to know them as the real people versus their character. So that's been really cool. Now, the other Days guest that I have coming up next week is Kate Nancy. She will be with us on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to talk with her about her character, about Days, and just her career in general. So if you're a Kate Nancy fan, you'll want to be sure to tune in for that. Also coming up next week, coming on Tuesday. Let me just double check. No, it will be Wednesday. My mistake. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Roderick Williams, who plays Tyler Michelson on The Young and the Restless. He will be our guest, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday night. And I'm still waiting for confirmation. I've got agreement for the interview, but I don't have a confirmed date and time, so I'm not going to announce who it is. But we are going to be having a guest from Guiding Light on our show in the very near future, and it will be in April. I just don't know yet which April date. I'm waiting to hear back, the official confirmation of which date they were given. So as soon as I get that, we'll be putting it up on our website, and we'll be letting you all know and putting it out on social media. But Blake Barris is Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you're a Blake fan, you'll want to tune in. He's got a brand new movie coming out pretty soon that is also starting to be promoted. It's called Meth Head. Now that sounds pretty interesting just from the title alone. But yeah, he is actually going to be on, and we'll be talking about his character on Days, but we'll also be talking about his new film and any other projects that he has that he's working on currently. And there's one little tidbit. He recently, let me get my notes in front of me, he recently won an award as recent as like last week down in Florida. Let me see. He won, he was the recent winner of the Rising Star Award at the Gasparilla International Film Festival, which was held in Orlando, Florida. So he was awarded that, I want to say Thursday night of last week, and so we'll have that to talk about as well. But he's such an interesting young man. I mean, he's really done a lot in his career, and his dad was a director, so it was, kind of in his blood from the word go to be a performer. And so, he's always wanted to be an actor. So it's going to be interesting to hear, how his journey, where it began and where he ended up, from here. So, and let's see, beyond that, let's see. Brandon's screaming at me. He's going, how do you do it all? Well, it's called multitasking, and I know people just, their heads spin sometimes when I tell them, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I love what I do. I love radio. I've always wanted to be in radio ever since I was 10 years old, and I'm not trying to sound cliche here, but that is so true. I was 10 years old and started out, I fell in love. Okay, Michelle is still giving me tidbits on the whole GH. She is the inside girl. If you want to know anything about anything soap-related, Michelle is your gal. Yay, go Michelle. But no, seriously, I when I was very young, I just fell in love with radio. I was mesmerized with the whole, being on air, talking, playing music. I mean, it just really appealed to me. And as I remember my summers off from school, I would go buy 45 records that they would sell at the local dime store for like 69 and 79 cents per, a piece. And I would build my little record collection, and I would play radio DJ. I mean, that was how I entertained myself when I was, growing up. So as it evolved, I really wanted to get into this as a career early on. But, life got in the way, and I just took a different path. And so it took me a little longer to get to this place I'm at now, but I'm very glad that I'm here. And I've had the opportunity, anyway, even though it didn't unfold the way I was thinking it was going to, but at least it has unfolded, and that's the main thing. So, yeah, but so to talk a little bit about, and just so everyone knows, Michelle is telling us that in an interview with Maurice Bernard, the Emmy winner revealed John Stamos is indeed returning to GH. Woohoo! Well, all right. See, there we go. The cat's out of the bag. Let's hope it holds true, and we'll be seeing him on our TV screens very soon. That could be very, very soon, people, because we know that Nurse's Ball is coming up quickly. And so now there is one thing about the Nurse's Ball that I've always been curious about, and that is I've always heard that Lesli Kay or somebody affiliated with the cast of GH. They always take their clothes off. And I want to say it's Lesli Kay, and I'm assuming that to keep with tradition that's going to happen this year. But I'm just interested in how that comes about. Why does it come about? Why is it, did she get drunk or what happens, Because it's kind of funny to me to even think about it. But having seen her character on the show, it wouldn't surprise me at all. She's just crazy. She's nutty, So we shall see what happens. Okay, it is Lucy. Thank you, Michelle. So let's see. All right, I'm just reading notes in the chat room so I can get caught up. Oh, my gosh. She always seems to lose her dress in the end. Oh, my. Well, I guess, you know what? GH will keep with tradition on that just because it's Lesli Kay. They would not want to disappoint, So I don't see how they couldn't. So we'll have to wait and see how that's all going to pan out. But, all I can say to you guys is I am terribly sorry. Lesli Kay, it is Easter weekend, and, I was afraid this would happen, but, you just never know sometimes. Things happen, but with it being holiday weekend, people have plans. They have things that they're doing to celebrate the holiday, and it's completely understandable. So it does not look like she is going to be calling in, apparently. I've been talking to you now for close to 40 minutes, nonstop. But I can assure you that I will touch base with her publicist, and we will reschedule, and we will have her on at a later date, and hopefully it will be, during the month of April, so we will not disappoint. So, and as soon as I have the date nailed down, I will be sure to, let you guys know on social media. In the meantime, if you want to follow us and our show, you can follow us at BT Mike MIC Radio on Twitter. You can also check out our website, BehindTheMicRadio.com. And we also have a Facebook page, Behind the Mic Radio. Just do a search, you'll find us, and we'd love to have you follow us. Reach out to us, and if there's anyone that you would like for us to get on the show here, you're a diehard fan, we will do our absolute best. I will say out of the gate, we've had some great success with some of the guests that we've landed. Totally shocked and surprised by some of the people that we've had on already to be a brand new show. So we do have more coming. I can tell you I've already got people booked. Just about the whole month of April is spoken for with guests just for this show. We're not even talking about my Jam and Jukebox show. So it's going to be a really good month. We've got a lot of interesting guests lined up. We've got some celebrities. It's going to be a good mix of a lot of different kinds of people. We have some music artists. And so I think you're going to be pleasantly pleased. And also, as a footnote, Pam and I are still collaborating. I was co-hosting on her show, Take Your Radio, for a while. And, and then I already had my jamming show, and then I started this show. And, of course, running two shows and managing two shows, and I'm also in school full-time, work full-time. It just was a little bit too much to try to still co-host. But she's doing a great job. She's got a great panel of co-hosts that are over there helping her, David and Sabina and a few others. And, and she's doing a great job. She's to be highly commended. She's, almost at 1 million listeners in less than 6 months' time. That's unheard of. Just keep supporting her in what she's doing. And we're both trying to collaborate and bring you guys a lot of different guests for both shows. Every now and again, you may hear the same guests on both shows, but even then, we're trying to spread it out so that it's not redundant and boring. We want to offer as many guests as possible, lots of variety to all the listeners out there so that you have two shows that you can draw from for guests and for your entertainment source. So that is our goal. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap simply because I'm absolutely parched and thirsty now. I've been talking for 45 minutes. But thank you so much for bearing with me and putting up with me and listening to me go on and on about different things. And I just appreciate and love you guys so much. So thanks so much, and I'm so sorry again that Leslie was not able to call in. We will find out what has happened, and we will definitely get it rescheduled. I can promise you that. And so with that, I'm going to wrap up for the evening. Have a great, great, great Easter. Happy Easter to you all, and remember the reason for why we celebrate Easter. And coming Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Blake Barris from Days. Take care, all. Good night.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop's baked from scratch custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect to Behind the Mic Radio on Twitter at BT Mic Radio and on Facebook at Behind the Mic Radio. Check out our website at BehindTheMicRadio.com. Also, follow us right here on Blog Talk Radio, where you can stay up to date on all upcoming shows. Every episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.